name? What's your number? What do you want? I'm like, no, 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 bullshit. My first question is, have you ever rented storage before? I know which way to guide the conversation then.
Hmm. Or I ask them, what caused you to call me today?
Yeah.
What happened in your life to have you call me today?
Yeah.
Well,
So I
perfect.
just saw Jess Johnson hopped on. Jess, where are you hiding? Are you on a plane somewhere? Or are you at the airport?
I think she's probably drinking after the week she had.
She started day drinking.
Exactly.
Uh, no, I don't think she ever stopped day drinking.
It's happy hour somewhere. All right, let's get started here, guys. Thanks again for everyone joining us for another weekly storage meetup. I am recording. Yes, I am recording. Appreciate everyone jumping on here. I know there's been the traveling and the SSA going on, so got the diehards that have joined us so far. Hey, just hit 50, so more than I thought would join us today. Again, appreciate you joining us here, Storage Meetup. If it's your first time, I'd love for you to raise your hand or put it in chat, and we can bring you up a little bit later to introduce yourself. This is very
Yeah.
free flowing conversation. Pretty much anything goes. If you've been on these in the past, that's kind of the way we work things around here. I do like to start kind of the top of the hour here. Take 10 minutes. We do our little show and tell. This is for vendors, people providing services in the industry, give an opportunity to be able to showcase, hey, what's up, what's new, especially people that have somewhat been around for a long time. They're up in their game and changing things, so I like to see what's going on in the industry. Today we got Joseph from Neighbor. What's going on, Joseph? You can,
Hey, thanks for having me.
yeah, of course. So yeah, you got like 10 minutes. Go ahead and do what you want to do, and then we'll take some questions afterward as well. But I'll let the show is yours.
Awesome. Yeah, excited to chat with you folks and appreciate you letting me join your group for the day. So I'll just give a quick explainer of what Neighbor is and how we think about the world. And then I'll save most of the time for questions so I can answer specifics. Um, but but Neighbor, we believe the number one problem in America is the allocation of space. And just fundamentally, I think most of the media around this and most of the time goes into solving the core housing, trying to solve the core housing and affordability problem. And the reality is like that's just not working, right? It's a regulatory issue, and we're just not able to build enough housing in the United States. And so we took the view, and we started Neighbor, that storage is the solution to the housing problem. Like people are the number of studio and one bedroom apartments in the United States has gone through the roof. So people are just moving into smaller and smaller living spaces, and storage is kind of becoming part of your house. So that's why we built Neighbor. We're the first storage company to serve renters in all 50 states, almost every city in all 50 states. So obviously, you can see the largest markets here are going to be things like New York, California, Florida. But we have renters in little towns in North Dakota with 500 people in the whole town or 1,000 people in the whole town. So we haven't concentrated into just one area. We think storage is a problem everywhere. We see this in Salt Lake where we're based. The affordability crisis isn't just in the coastal markets anymore. It's in flyover markets too. We're backed by some of the best to do this. We're building a marketplace, and so we went and got, the builders of DoorDash and Uber, services that I love, to use, so that they could help us craft a similar experience for renters out there. I want to spend a little bit of time too on the trends we see. The latest data we have says that 75% of self-storage renters now rent through mobile apps or websites, and I think the companies that some companies are disproportionately getting access to these renters. It's been a big shift in the industry, and some companies are really benefiting from that shift, and others are not. Another stat here is internet searches for self-storage have doubled since 2020. So you're seeing that in the Google data that shows up. And there just aren't a lot of great solutions out there, unfortunately. Um, And that's another problem we've tried to tackle is like, how do we help everyone adapt to this internet change that's happening and it's affecting all of us? So when we look at the lay of the landscape, here's the three problems that we see. Um, a lot of people, their experience with online is leads that don't convert, and if they do convert, aren't incremental to what they're already bringing in. The second problem we hear often is that a lot of the tools out there don't integrate with your existing systems. They require you to do a bunch of manual work on the side, or they really try to push you to use their system instead. And I'm part of the attractiveness of a self-storage business is that it takes less operations than, say running a hotel or something like that, other real estate investments. And so like, why should we be building tools that actually add operational overhead to your business? And then the third problem we see is bidding algorithms that make online spend really unpredictable. Um, Nothing better for a business than being able to set a budget and know what you're going to spend on that budget. Now, nothing's ever going to be perfect here, but there's no sense in making this harder than it needs to be. So we've come up with something we call the neighbor handshake. Um, and there's a few core principles here. First, and we just think these are the right way to do business. Like we're successful when our customers are successful. So the first is no renter, no bill. We're never going to charge for ghost leads. You only pay for new renters that actually move in with transparent pricing around that. We use a flat rate model. So, depending on the size of your facility and number of locations, we'll agree, to a flat rate before and sign a contract before your company onboards with us. And that way you have that predictability that we talked about. The second is we won't ever bid on your facility's name. This goes to that incremental piece. People searching for you specifically should find you. We're not in the business of poaching from that. We have a lot of people, because of the nature of our marketplace, that come to us directly. And those are the customers that we want to send your way as people that wouldn't have otherwise found you. And the third here is your tech, your choice. There are a lot of different technology options out there. I'm sure some of them have presented to you here. And we see a lot of benefits to a lot of different choices, and different facilities, different portfolios may make different decisions based on their setup. Like there's no like one, CRM to rule them all that's like the absolute best. They're all good at different things. And you should be in charge of deciding that. So you use the management software you prefer, and we'll just integrate to make your job easier. And we want you to be able to control all the tools in the platform you're already using. So an example of this is like we've gone to top providers like Covey or Tenon or Self Storage Manager. You can literally click a button. I mean, it would take less than a day to onboard with Neighbor, because it's all integrated. And when we get you a lead, it converts in your CRM. So we know about it already. And so like the billing is really easy. You don't have to do some reconciliation at the end of the month. And we can even work with the large, if you're on a storable product, it's not exactly a direct API integration, but we work with your reporting to where we can work with your CRM as well. So like we really don't care what CRM you use. We've got a solution for it. The last thing I'll say here is to that point about bidding, our algorithm, obviously different companies have to compete for leads, but we believe they should compete on the right things, not on, some sort of bidding algorithm. So our algorithm's very complex, as it should be, but if I had to boil it down to two things, it's going to boil down to, do you convert the leads we send you? Because our incentives are aligned there. You want to convert those leads. We want to convert those leads. The people that convert leads at a higher rate, they do better in our algorithm. And then the second thing is your storage facilities, the features that your storage facility has, your location, are they what renters want? And that's the thing we should all be competing on is like who's got the best features for the renter. And so if you have a great facility at a great price, you're going to win there. And that's it, right? And those things are a component of other folks' algorithms, but like they're the main components of ours. And that's what we should all be sorting based on. So, would love to have you join us. That's kind of our email to get anyone set up on the platform, but mostly just wanted to open it up for Q&A.
Well, I want to see again. This is part of
Sure.
the show and tell. If I'm the on the customer side of things, what does it look like from the customer point of view? When I'm searching for storage, what does the platform look like, or is it this
Sure.
normal?
Yeah. Yeah, let me show you. It's always fun to do a live demo.
Yeah,
Uh, let
because
me
frankly, I'm still stuck on before. Because you guys are still based in Utah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That's
we're
what I thought. Yep,
based in Salt Lake City.
yep. I
Yep.
remember seeing the billboards and all of that around here, driving around. Because it used to be kind of like, what would people say was like the Airbnb of storage, being able to like
Yeah.
rent out that. But now you're kind of transitioning a little bit more towards helping the storage locations. So I want to kind of see that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And we actually still do that. So
Yeah, I figured.
um uh again, our mission is to solve the space problem. We we think this is I think if you surveyed every American in the country, the number one problem that would come back is housing affordability. We certainly experience this around us. Like you used to be able to buy a $300,000 home in
Oh,
Utah.
the storage meetup.
That doesn't
I saw
exist
a
anymore.
picture. I didn't get in there, but I'll bet you actually.
Um,
There you go.
Okay, so here is our website. Is my screen still sharing?
Yep, yep, you're good.
It's kind of doing weird things for me. Okay. So a renter's going to come here. You can search anywhere in the country. Um, and one thing I'd say, you see parking up here. We're the strongest marketplace nationwide in terms of vehicle storage. So if that's ever been a struggle for you, we have a lot of vehicle storage demand. So let's say you're searching in Los Angeles. You can come here. We get very specific with what you're trying to store to provide a great experience. We don't just use broad categories. So like if you were to click an RV and a camper, for example, um, uh, we're going to ask you if it's a class A or a class B or a class C. But let's use item storage here. Um, and search, and then you're going to see the experience. We actually focus more on a map experience here, which is unique. This is going to feel a lot more similar to, a bookings.com or an Airbnb. Again, we brought in top marketplace experts, and so we're trying to build a marketplace that's more user-friendly like them. And we also think this is better for you because it allows you to compete on location better. Other platforms, all you're going to see is this over here, which is great. Um, and then you can click on one of these listings. You can pull up a very detailed page about the facility. You can see one of our partners here. We showcase a lot of photos because again, we're really leaning into this renter experience. We want them to be able to see where they're going to be renting before. Some platforms really try to hide this, and they're just showcasing names. And uh, then you submit the lead um, and put in your expected start date. We pass that to you so that you can close it on your terms and get your contract signed. Although we have, I think, the best call center in the country, and we do offer that as well. If you want to integrate with our call center and let our call center close your leads, we're more than happy to do that because we convert those at a very high rate. And again, because we're pulling from an API from your CRM, these prices match exactly whatever your prices are. So you never have to come into our platform and like update prices.
Yeah,
You should almost never have to come to our platform.
that's
Um, that's what we want. We're doing a good job. If you just go update stuff in your CRM and within, half an hour, it's already updated on our site. That's a job well done by Neighbor.
Gotcha.
Any questions?
Yeah, so how do you get paid from the storage facility? What are we paying you?
Yeah. So we do everything billed on a monthly basis. And because we're integrated with your CRM, we see all the leads that close every month. And again, it's a flat fee. So we work with you as the storage operator beforehand. We'll get a contract in place, an agreement between you and neighbor, and it's based on a number of months' rent. Um, so it's the model that you're used to, probably working with other marketplaces. The difference is it doesn't change, right? So whatever we agree to on that number of months rent that you pay, that's what you pay for every lead that we send you. Um, is
Gotcha.
very simple, and that'll the rate depends on the size of the portfolio that you're bringing on, and things like that.
Interesting.
We
Yeah, I
will
mean,
we'll pilot as well. So
okay.
some folks just want to try it out on, 10 locations or something like that, and others want to like go full across the board and onboard 50 locations or something like that. We can start with you wherever you want.
Perfect. I'm just curious as far as like maybe this is a question for the marketers here in the room too. Going on a platform like Neighbor, does that help almost like a citation in getting the name and information out there for your facility?
Everyone,
Maybe not. I don't know. Just
every
curious.
one of those are citation. If your name, address, phone number is on it, I believe Neighbor is not one that's connected to the APIs, but it's still something that cites you. Like Bright Local, Corey, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like Bright Local, SEMrush, they don't connect to Neighbor, but regardless, it's still something that verifies your information. Yeah. And I know that Neighbor is spending lots and lots of money on ads, and so it's a great way to get yourself more exposure. Yeah. If they're spending the money, use it. Exactly. Use their dime instead of yours.
That's right.
100%.
And on that note, smaller operators oftentimes one of their biggest struggles is competing there because some companies they can spend in 30 plus states, and your costs, for those of you that are really smart about marketing, your costs go down the more locations you spend in, and you can use optimization algorithms to really bring those costs down. So because we're a marketplace that's in all 50 states, we can spend really affordably, to where our cost of acquisition gets lower, is very low, and we're able to kind of give you access. So you may not be a large owner, but you can compete. We're kind of the way to where it's like bundling. It's like you buy bulk at Costco and you get better deals. We're almost like a co-op where everyone comes together, and because we're all combined together, we get access to Google's lower rates, and therefore
Gotcha.
you get access to more lead volume.
Well, this is great. Well, thank you for taking. I mean, go ahead and make sure you have your information in chat as well. If you have a slide or something that has your information to reach out to you, there you go. The info. Perfect. Just for the sake of time, that anyone else has questions for him, if you want to hang out, Joseph, put it in chat. You can kind of address some other questions that
Great.
way as well. But
Yeah.
no, yeah, thank you for the time on that because that's exciting. I've seen you guys around forever, but I haven't seen this angle for actually the storage listing. So this is
Y-
perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to reconnect, Jim. I remember doing the podcast. It must have been,
That was
4 or 5 years ago.
that was back in the day. That's probably like 6 years ago. It's been a while. That's great. Well, thank you for doing that, man. You
Yeah.
can. Yep. Perfect. So yeah, any other questions for Joseph? Go ahead and put it in chat as well. You can hang out and do it that way. But I'll be checking it out as well because anytime we can leverage and just to get another method of getting the phone to ring and get rentals, cool. I'm all for it. That's the whole point. So thank you very much. You back on, Jim? Or did you take off?
No, I'm here. I'm still
Oh, there you
sitting
are.
here. I
There you
just
are.
watched people are walking by saying goodbye. So I saw James Appleton and a couple of guys and people coming down the escalator. So I'm in a spot where I might have a few people walk by. But no, I guess the only question I had for Joseph is the payments. You said it's monthly. So if they stayed are you paying every month they stay, or is it just a set rate? So if they move in and you get 2 months worth of rent or two, whatever the number is, or is it as long as they're staying, they're paying?
Yeah, great question. So we do offer both models for those that are interested, but most of our storage facility partners are going to be on an upfront rate.
Okay.
So say um, uh, say we agreed to a rate that was 2 or 3 months rent. Like you're just going to pay that for every customer. It doesn't matter if we send you someone asked Tommy, I think you asked, does it matter whether you send 1 or 10? It doesn't matter if it's 1 or 10 customers a month. It's just for each customer, whatever the monthly price was that we sold them on that you gave us, you're going to pay that multiple. It's not going to change where it's like one
Yeah.
month
Come
it's
say hi.
lower than two, and one month it's spiked up to 5 months rent that you got to pay. That's never going to happen on Neighbor.
We got somebody walking by. Say hi, Jim.
Oh,
Hi
hey,
guys.
how's it going? Enjoy the
Good to see you
show?
guys.
Good seeing you.
If anyone's just jumping on, Jim's at wrapping up the SSA event in San Antonio. So, so people have jumped on later, Jim. What was your main takeaways at the SSA?
It's always good to, I say it all the time that we are in the best industry ever with the networking and the friends and sharing of data back and forth and ideas. And I mean, I look on the screen, there's so many people here we've talked to over the years that help each other. I saw Adam Armstrong on here. I haven't seen him in a while. I see him waving at us. It's just the networking, the connecting, the sharing of ideas back and forth. There were some new vendors here as always. AI is still a hot topic here, but I think one of the biggest topics, again, we talked, Jim, was the whole public storage NSA thing and how that's going to affect some of the secondary, tertiary markets.
Yeah, I saw some people mentioning that here in the chat. It's one of those things where we've talked about this for years. The bigger boys, maybe they're not going to come in our area. They're not going to build here. They ain't building.
Well,
They're just buying and taking over some of these tertiary markets, and that's a perfect example.
yeah. Do you remember when Extra Space bought Jefferson Street's Store Express a couple of years ago? That didn't go as well for them as I think. I'm pretty sure that they've not really adapted that model out a lot because it doesn't fit what their big model is. So just because they're in our towns, and Corey, I had this conversation in Florida, just because they're in our towns, we can still beat them every day because unfortunately somebody said something yesterday about one of the big REITs managers that if you walk in their door and they're going to tell you, they're already shell shocked. I think Matt said that last week, shell shocked, that they know they're going to be dealing with the rate increases and all that stuff. And they're going to tell you, hey, if you want the best deal, you got to walk outside, rent on your cell phone to get the thing. Then they come back to do it, paperwork's done. They're not going to give the service that a lot of our managers can give because and I don't want to say we hire quality people, but I think we train better. I think we focus on things that some of the bigger REITs might forget about. And again, when you got that many stores, Jim, it's like steering a ship. How is going to take the course correct on something that if they change it, where a smaller operator can shift today and it's done tomorrow? So I think, that's the attitude I always take is we can beat them.
I think, Jim, the word is not train better, but you can empower better.
Yes.
And
very
just
good.
Because PS bought NSA, you already had a REIT that was your neighbor. It didn't change anything. It just changed the sign on the front door. Yep. And the smaller operator can compete by empowering their people. The property managers of public storage can only do what public storage allows them to do. And you can allow your property manager to be flexible and to do more things. So that's what you have to remember if you're competing in your market, regardless of who your competition is.
And Randy, you raised a good point. We already had them. We already had the NSA people, so we had them. It's just a different color. So
yeah, just changing the sign on the front door.
It just makes it a little harder for your presence and your social, all of the things that you're doing to be found. Now they've got even a larger network. So it is going to be a little bit of a challenge there, right? And it's going to be we were just talking about the economy of scale on the Google ads, right? So now they've got an even deeper layer of that. So I think it's going to be challenging on the digital marketing front.
And what I hate about this deal, and it doesn't really focus on an individual market. It's another 1,000 stores that they add. It was something like another 50,000 units that get now dumped into the algorithm.
Yes.
And that's what it always boils down to me when these kind of takeovers and the big REITs. It's not just a sign on the door. It's the online digital presence. Now it's just one more thing you got to really focus on and up your game in your 3-mile local market.
one way to look at it is if you're in the local market and you had NSA and public storage in your market, when they search now, they're only coming up with one instead of two.
What?
So it's you could look at it from the cup full standpoint.
I was curious, like when I'll have to watch this when they take these sites over. Maybe the marketers here can ask this, but for like the reviews, do they start
They
over,
come
like,
with you.
do they come
So
with,
yeah,
they don't start from scratch? I was
no,
curious.
they come with you.
Be interesting to see.
Hey, Jess Johnson, how was your flight home? I see you're on.
I am on. Oh, I don't want to be on camera. Hold on. I'm on. As you can tell, it was a rough week by the way I look, but today was easy peasy. So somebody was on my side this morning, but it was
What was
good
the
to see
deal
everybody
getting
at
there?
SSA.
What was the deal getting there? Just delayed
Uh,
flights or what?
there were delayed flights. There was a nor'easter, and then all these TSA employees walking off the job. I was scheduled to fly out of Jacksonville Tuesday. Monday, I got a text. Flight was already canceled. All the other carriers, their flights were starting at like $2,000 round trip, which I was getting ready to book. And no sooner did I go to book, they were all sold out. So my only option was to go down and go out of Orlando. But Orlando was a mess, just an absolute mess. Plus, it's spring break. There's a lot of travel in and out of Disney. It was just a mess.
Well, hopefully you got some business while you're down in San Antonio. Made it worth it.
I will give
It
her
did.
credit.
Definitely did.
I sat with her in the one session yesterday. She was very calm and didn't yell at anybody, so she was good.
Is that the barometer here? Didn't yell at anybody? That's a win. Okay, got it.
Yeah, the
Well,
Baltimore comes out real fast sometimes.
and I'm assuming your booth actually got there, Jessica.
Oh my God, my booth got there. Freeman put it up. Like, it was good. However, there was this initial scare in the beginning where all of the piping to the booth, that was the one box that was missing. And I'm like, FedEx and Freeman cannot do this to me 2 shows in a row. Like, I'm going to lose it. So luckily we found it.
Jeez. Well, I'm glad you made it there safe and made it home.
Well, ask her the
Thanks.
question.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Jess, what was your
Go
one
ahead.
big takeaway from the show?
I really, the curiosity of AI is still very much there. I think it's even increasing. You saw a lot of mom and pops. I did a roundtable about, AI chatbots versus human support and having a good blend. And there's definitely curiosity there, even down to, a one property owner. I had, a range of people like that, all the way up to people that had, 50 plus stores or whatever, talking about, bringing some of this in. You'd be shocked. I mean, people are starting to use it, but it's a very slow adoption rate, I would say. I think there's still some hesitancy there of like, what's the right tech stack? What's the right things that you need? And I really was fascinated with the keynote speaker. It was the creator of Ring Doorbell. His story's fascinating. And then just the way he was talking about, I loved how he made this point as it relates to security. You can have a traditional security system where maybe you have like an overnight agent or a security company where they're watching cameras for you. But think of it this way, that camera basically remains like a still picture for a very long time, right? Because there's not a whole lot of activity going on the camera side, on the view side, on the property. And, the human eye may miss something when something happens. Whereas AI, and as AI continues to learn what those security parameters are and what you're looking for, like AI never gets tired. It's a machine. It's always learning. It's always on. So I thought that was a really creative, way to say it and put it, which makes total common sense. Like humans get tired. There is human error. The more we can train some of this eye, the less errors we're going to see in some of our, operational workflows. So I thought it was overall a good show. Lots of discussion still on, how do I bring in AI? What's the right AI and how is it going to help me?
I think I'm gonna just thinking out loud here, but again, with the AI, of course, people know I love AI, but I think I'm gonna start doing more of our pre-show hangout and kind of dedicating some more time before we actually start on this, of doing some more demos and showcasing tech stacks and actually how do you use AI, how do you leverage it into your facility and your operations? Because we keep talking about it, but I think we just need to see it. We need to see it. We need to hear it. We need to kind of experience it more. So again, just thinking out loud, but I'm gonna start probably using some more of our pre-show hangout time to do some of that.
Yeah. And what I heard at my roundtable from some of the owners that are, starting to look at it and bring it in, I'd say they're looking at it kind of at like the basic level. They're going into Chat GPT. They're having it help them write responses to reviews. They're having it help them write emails. They're having them, write content for marketing, things that we've heard, but you really don't hear that elevated level of like, I'm bringing in a chat bot because I know the analytics I can get from the chat bot, or I can reduce labor with this chat bot. So I still think there's a huge learning curve for a lot of owners and even some of the big guys. I mean, I even heard some of the big players and their discussions. They're scared of it for sure.
And that's why we got to keep talking about it, because you can't be scared about it because it ain't going anywhere. So you just got to confront it and be a part of it, learn it, adapt it. You can dip your toe in the water and start playing with this stuff, but
yeah, that's exactly what I told people, Jim. I said, look, to the owners that came to my roundtable, I said, you can't ignore it. You have to adopt it. It's not going anywhere. I said, I was an early adopter of Chat GPT, and I can tell you what that platform is now to what it was at inception is lightning speed difference, and it's lightning speed difference almost in the upgrades and enhancements that they're doing. And then there's so many platforms out there. So you cannot ignore this as an owner. You've got to start looking into it for sure.
Gabriel, you're on, buddy. Let's see, you made it.
I am on. I'm here.
You made it. No pesky meetings got in the way today, huh?
My boss is on vacation, so I'm here.
Oh, sweet. Okay, you can play. Again, you eat, leave, and breathe the AI stuff. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm in full alignment with Jessica. Completely. Jess, sorry, I'm not her parentals.
You listen, Gabriel. You listen.
I do. I think as much as I've talked about AI, around the country for the prior 3 years, I myself progressed through, like Jess has said, seen with the softwares are progressing, but my conversations haven't so much. I will always ask the room, full room, how many people are using AI, and I'll say maybe half the room hands go up. And then I'll say, how many people are using it every day in your work? And that's when the hands go down. There might be 1 or 2 people in the room with their hands remaining. And that seems to be kind of the consistent in alignment with exactly what Jess has said, is that people are hearing about it. They're easily able to re-articulate to me what they've heard on the news. But when I ask them about their own journey, about them putting their hands on it, they're like, oh, somebody else does that. They don't do that themselves. And I've always kind of stated, like, the best way to learn to ride a bike is not by watching videos or the best bike rider in the world ride the bike. You got to get your ass on the bike, and that's it. Like, most people still need to touch it and play with it, because it's a changing of ideology. Again, in my speeches, I've kind of said that we as a society have been trained via the Google bot to have options. So when I have a question, I need 30 options in front of me on the table to understand what maybe I want to do. AI is really forcing you to be more solutions oriented now. Now you kind of really have to know what you want and go for it, because you're starting with blank slate. And I feel that's the hardest part for people. That's the biggest jump for people, and at least when I try to really boil it down. And there's other things, of course, right? Technology, they're just afraid of learning a new technology. Or my work process is perfect right now. I do everything. Why do I want to take the time to learn a whole new thing? I'm having these conversations all the time and understanding why are people not jumping at it. I can have a presentation where I have shown you where I've run data and it takes me 10 hours to do it. And now that I'm using AI, it's under 5 minutes, and everyone's mind goes boom. And then I'll meet with everyone, a week later, a month later, 6 months later and say, are you doing it? And 9 out of 10 of them will say no. And I say, why? Like I literally blew your socks off, and now you ran. And you said, I can't wait till I run home, and then none of you did it. This was really like, what am I missing? Now I'm missing something because I feel like I'm showing you the Holy Grail, and you're excited in the moment, but none of you actually took the opportunity to go integrate it. And that's when I really realized that there were more barriers that I could see, that I could blow your mind, but that still wasn't enough to get you to go home and touch it yourself. And so I think that's where those conversations have. It's now becoming a culture shift. It's about having those conversations with your executives and getting buy-in from the department heads, and really kind of having conversations first. Because I actually went to a department. I won't pick on any one particular department. I went into a department and said, I have AI. I am dedicating myself and my bots to you in your position. How can I help you? And we sat there for 30 minutes and came up with a list of nothing. They couldn't do it. They like, I'm not sure. And so I reworked only the verbiage. Same question. I said, I hired you a college intern. You have no choice. I got them. You have them. I'm sending them your way. What are you going to have them do? All of a sudden, I reworked the question, and they couldn't stop giving me stuff, right? Like they had, here's this, I don't like to do this, I don't like to do this. And I thought, like, there was something there. I asked them the same question. I can help you. One of them's with a bot, one of them's with a person. When I asked them with a bot, they weren't sure how to answer that question. When I said it was a human, they opened up the floodgates. Again, this is just something psychologically happening here. That's why I can't see it, because it's not logical, it's psychological. And that's the barrier. What's stopping people from jumping on this platform? Are they afraid of it? Or do they think they got their own job down already? Are they unaware that it's coming into their lane? Is it so high over them that they can't see that it's coming into their lane? I'm not sure. I think it's all of the above at this moment. I can't necessarily put my finger on any one of them. So AI is coming. It's coming ferociously. And I encourage everyone, you should be understanding it, using it in any shape or form, just to play with it and have an understanding of how it really works. I see Tyler. What's up, Tyler?
Yeah, Tyler, what's up?
Hey guys. So I have a little case study that I thought I would share. It actually is from outside storage, but was talking to a client, and we had this task that otherwise would be kind of prohibitively difficult to put together, and AI helped us a ton. So a couple days ago, I've been using Claude for a couple months now, and building a number of tools. It's pretty impressive, including Claude Code. I installed Claude Cowork a couple days ago, and I'm like, what am I going to use this thing for? And I'm talking with a client to work out a little project. And the project was basically that the client has about 190 blog posts on the website. All of that has to get categorized and tagged, and we needed to come up with an internal linking structure as well. So I ran a crawl on the site using a tool called Screaming Frog, common marketing tool. Previously had built a tool that uses the Anthropic API and pulls in a crawl. It connects to Firecrawl, which will crawl websites. The tool allows us to crawl any website or set of URLs or work from a sitemap and pull all of the content from that site or that set of URLs, strip out the header and the footer and the navigation, and put everything into Markdown, which is a form that easily moves around between various AI tools. Fed all of that into, I gave Claude Cowork a folder to work from. I said, here's your Google Sheet, here's a Word doc. And over the course, it took us about 5 or 6 hours. But basically, we were able to run through everything, produce category structure, tags, total everything up, full internal linking structure so we know what blog post links to what service page and what other blog posts. And then I instructed it to take that Google Doc and come up with about 100-word intro paragraph for every category and tag page in WordPress, which was the content management system here. and put all this together and delivered it. And it was beautiful. It was just really great work. And having the AI tool and knowing how to apply it, which I think is what Gabe was getting at, and having good human review both on my side and the client side, which is what Shane alludes to in the chat over there, is really, really essential. So I'm, pretty skeptical about AI agents just going out and doing stuff. And that to me, really sort of raises red flags for me. But when you have your workflow augmented by AI tools and AI functionality, it's extremely powerful.
I'm sure a lot of people are on this right now going, your heads are probably swimming for a lot of this stuff. I totally get it. I mean, I'm in this and I'm still kind of barely keeping my head above water on a lot of these things. I want to ask, again, you, Gabe, other people are doing this in your operations for self-storage. If we did like I don't know, how to apply, we keep talking about that, how to actually apply it, how to apply AI in your operations. Maybe I'll do like a recurring workshop, something like that to actually show it. Give me some ideas. Like I'm serious, like how are you actually applying it in your operations? I mean, for marketing, for videos, for calls, like I want to hear.
I'll give you one, Jim, that I just got done doing earlier this week was to take all of our call logs from last year and then put all the call logs, the metrics in there and put that in AI and then pull me out a full report of when our busiest times are, when different things are just for like staffing purposes. So it really gave me an insight on, hey, obviously the last 5 days, first 5 days of the month are our busiest, but what other times during the middle of the month, like the days and the times, are we the busiest to make sure that we have, double coverage or, more than one coverage for our call center to be able to, make sure that handle the call volume. It showed me percentage of call volume at certain times during the day, during the week, whatever it may be. And so I was able to go readjust our schedule based off of that.
Okay, that helps. Thank you. Any other, Gabriel? I know you kind of got hired at Daryl's for doing a lot of this stuff.
Absolutely. And just in my prior, with everything that I was doing, I had the privilege again of going into a multitude of departments. So while I am a marketing manager here at Daryl's, I would love to share, what we were doing in, acquisitions, what we're doing in HR, what we were doing in our contact center, how we were leveraging AI for customer service. I was kind of, led that project to go in and actually have those conversations with each department head and truly understand, from their perspective, whether it be, low hanging fruit or high hanging fruit, what they really needed. For example, contact center was bucketing calls. So these are a lot of manual calls and a lot of the services are doing this now. So nothing crazy outside of what doesn't exist out there already. It's just we're able to build it ourselves. Outside of using some of the great services like Nothing Against CallRail or these great services that do all of this coaching and we're just able to replicate that essentially using these automation softwares, and that way we just have more control over the entire platform because we've literally built it. Human resources was crunching, for us mundane project, we give away gift cards to our employees on their anniversary date. So someone had to go curate that list of birthdays and then figure out, how many years they've been there. And it's nothing difficult. This is no rocket science, but it still took time. And so we just automated little things like that. So now HR has all these little mini bots that will tell you around the first of the month, sends an email and says, these are the birthdays of the month and they've been there this many years. Please purchase this many gift cards, so just taking small things that just take time and being able to automate and bundle that. So I know we're trying to think so grandioso, right? Like this needs to be this bot that comes in and saves me $10,000. Like, no, just go look at your everyday job and all the little mundane tasks that you do. Just chip away at those one at a time. So when I come in the morning, like all my reports are literally, I have to run nothing because everything's sitting in my email box waiting for me. It's totaled, it's spit into charts online. I spend no time running reports and curating because everything's automated.
And that's, well, you kind of hit on it. I think that's kind of my point. It's almost overwhelmed at the moment. People just don't know where to start. I mean, just what's the first step? Oh, okay, cool. Now what's the next step? Seeing just the small areas that it can be helpful. That's what I want to show. That's what I want to demonstrate. Just the small little baby steps. I think that's going to be the only way to kind of get things moving along in the right direction. Martin, sorry, you raised your hand. Go ahead.
Yeah, good to see you, Jim. One of the things that we did this past week was to teach the agent how to do competitor rate analysis. So when we do rental rate audits, I only have the ability to do them quarterly. I know other people may be doing them weekly or monthly, but given the number of facilities we have. So I think that has been very helpful in saving us a lot of time. So I started there, and that was a baby step for me. So I will let you know how that journey goes. But it's you can plug in other comps if you want, or you can find them for you. But yeah, super simple. So
what are you using?
I use Claude.
Claude? Okay. That's another thing I think I would like to be able to showcase is, here's how to do that application on this platform. Here's how to do this application on that platform, just so you can kind of get a feel for what else is out there. So, don't know.
Jim, to the point of everything that Gabe was saying, some of the tiniest changes are some of the things that make the biggest difference. And I'm sure Corey has seen this when there's a website that we have that we get our hands on for the first time. We run that thing through AI and we make the most simple suggestions, and you see traffic spike to the website. So that could be a starting point for people where they run their website through AI and say, give me 5 basic, simple things that I can do to my website right now to boost traffic.
So when you say run it through, I mean, you're literally just copy and pasting your domain, putting it in there. And then
depends on how deep I'm getting into it, but sometimes I'm going into the sometimes I'm going into the code, sometimes I'm going into the schema. But for someone who's more basic, I would just say the URL, because most of it's not a public storage or an extra space. You're not being blocked by the bots at this point. So have them run through it, understand what's going on, and kind of give you a breakdown.
Gotcha. We're not going to get too involved here with the schemas and stuff like that. So if you ran your domain and it said, hey, give me 5 suggestions on how to make this a better converting website, frankly, kind of stick with that. Okay.
Or how can I capture more traffic for my city, right? All of those little things make a huge difference when you ask. And sometimes it's like, it, but when it's right in front of you, it's like, oh, that's going to be easy to implement, right? And so that's I think the power in it.
So I've given this tip away, I think, on this same on this platform here, and I'll give it away again. And I've had clients who've come over from this platform and not taken the tip. But this is the easiest thing that you can do to your facility page to help boost traffic and have people click on you on that first page of organic is change your title tag to your special, if you have a special. So whatever your special is, your self-storage, and then your city name and state. And that what that does is it literally puts your blue link on organic. It gives you a special, so you're competing against public storage, extra space with 50% off for 3 months, where theirs just says self-storage near you. So kind of gives you a little bit of a leg up.
Okay, I'm just going to put you on the spot. We're going to be doing how to use AI for your marketing panel. Okay, cool. So whoever wants to do that, message me. You're in. We're going to. This was today, the 20th. Cool. 3 weeks from now, we're going to do it. I'll put that in there. That's how I decide on what we're going to do. I just pick a date and we'll stick to it and we'll figure it out. So AI and marketing, done. Someone has their hand raised. Jay Friends?
Good. What I find incredible value from using like language models AI is troubleshooting. You can burn half a day trying to figure out a random multiplexer issue on a PTI system. And just ask for suggestions. The best example I've ever heard people think, diversity of thought is a useful thing, but they struggle to explain it. So where I live, we keep the ketchup in the fridge, and I gather in other parts of the world they keep it in the cupboard. This is not diversity of thought. But what is when I run out of ketchup, what am I going to look for next? Something in the fridge, where the other person is going to look for something in the cupboard. And so when we run into problems, we take two different approaches to come up with a solution. Both can be equally valid, and agents can be incredibly helpful for that. Just give me a couple suggestions, and it might be something that you would not have thought of until step 43 of your troubleshooting as you're knocking things out. And they're quick and easy and incredibly helpful. So yeah, saves me a great amount of time troubleshooting. And for that, I don't need to build agents or do anything. It's just really right out of the box helpful. Good thing to get started with.
Hey, Jim, watch your calendar, because 3 weeks is the 10th, which is the Friday of ISS.
Fine, be a downer. Okay, 2 weeks.
I'm just letting you know, dude. Don't blame me.
Just give it a crap. Okay, we're gonna do it in 2 weeks then. I don't want to wait. Okay, 2 weeks. We're gonna do an AI and marketing workshop, part of the Storage Meetup. Cool. Done. All right, that's what we'll do. What else we got? We got about 8 minutes here left, guys. So I want to keep mindful of everyone's time on here. Any other suggestions? Any comments?
Do I get to ask my question?
No.
My question that I shot you and a few other people this week.
Oh yeah, please, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So I'm super curious if anybody else had a major search engine rankings drop on the Storable platform. I had one client that was severely impacted. I figured out the issue, thankfully. Hopefully we're going to get her back, but it was a major impact. They went down on page 2, and they were like sitting pretty at number 2 on organic.
So it was a Storable website?
Yeah, Storable website. Storable website. I'm just wondering if anybody else tanked. She was one of my very few customers still left on Storable.
I have quite a few customers on Storable, and there has been some significant degradation of traffic to all of my clients.
Yeah,
I can send you like a report of that too.
Yeah, it was frustrating.
Are you able to make heads or tails of why?
Oh, I figured out mine, and I'm not happy. Because
different things, all of them.
Yeah, was it the same thing, Eva?
Luckily none of mine were that badly damaged. Okay. But no, it was a couple of other things that I found because there was making changes within the platform. There's updates that have been done, and so I had to dig through. There was like 3 different issues that I found.
Yeah, it was very frustrating. We wound up, there were a whole bunch of website pages that had been indexed by Google that didn't even exist for other facilities actually that were listed on her domain for a while. So we worked through that, but the biggest thing was the facility pages, and the canonical tag was changed to point to the homepage. So basically it said, we're going to ignore this facility page, and the homepage is the important one, and her search engine rankings dropped dramatically.
Well, again, kind of proves the point of having someone watching this. I mean, how many owners have their websites? They're not watching our tracking. They're not seeing. All they're seeing is like, man, the phone hasn't rang in a while. That's all they're seeing. So if you don't have someone on your side looking at your website, looking at your tracking and your rankings,
use a tool. You use a tool like SEMrush or Ahref or something like that, because it's easy to miss those things. And if you've got a tool monitoring it and sending you alerts, you're going to catch it way sooner.
So I'm on Storable. I'm still stuck with Storable right now because of a few things that I need the money to change. I just Googled storage near me, and for the last 6 years, if you pulled that up, it was between myself and one other group of investors that had money to sponsor. So we'd go back and forth. Yeah, you're right. So Storable just did a website formatting, which was a nightmare last week. Actually took my online move-ins completely out for a while, and I am coming up 6th in the list. So I have to scroll to find myself at this time. There are facilities that are 40 miles from me coming up first, and there's facilities I've never heard of coming up before I show up. So yeah, I don't know what.
I'd have someone get into your website and check it, because if it's what happened to Corey, it could be detrimental.
Yeah.
Well, when I talked to tech support during the week, and that was one of the discussions that actually came up, what she of course offered me was that they could sell me another package to help me with my optimization, which was originally supposed to be part of what I was paying for when I subscribed back in 2019, but that's no longer considered part of what I pay for.
This is an error. This doesn't help with your SEO though. So they should be fixing it regardless of you having a package or not. This is wrong.
That's a technical error on their side that they need to fix.
So I have a question, for the people who are going through this. Were you guys made aware of this ahead of time, or was
No.
there any announcements or anything? No.
We didn't know, Corey and I didn't know that there was changes. I've had to go through all of my tag managers and redo all of my, like a lot of my rental process and flow reservation, everything like that, because there was no email. There was nothing. There was nothing.
Gotcha.
No, they made announcements. They made an
about other
announcement
things.
about the changes, but it was all like operators based, and it didn't really touch on what was changing on the website side.
That's what I was going to say. If you're average
all
person
caught-
looking
but
at
it-
it, your
So
average
if
person looking
there's-
at your website, you wouldn't know. It's all
If there's any technical people, or here's my big beef with this. We are in FMS's clients, and we understand, I understand updates, different things need to be done, but this is one of the biggest things that does not happen with the technical or development side of FMSs. Whatever it be, some of them are good, some are bad. When they roll out an update, they don't fully test on the implications that it has on their clients itself. Eva, you know this well. I've discussed this with you, like me and you being colleagues and you helping us out on our end on different things. But it is the most frustrating thing in the world, because all of a sudden you're doing operations one day and the next day you come in and things are completely different and it's not in your control. And then there's that lag. Yep. There's that. Yep. There's that lag. There's that time. And as me and ops, I'm so used to doing it one way and my team doing it one way that now that software development has been put in place, we've got to completely redo everything. And it might not be a few days until we figure out, wait, we were able to process this way. Now we can't. Now what happened? And there's no announcement or there's nothing from the dev team or from the technical side of an FMS that tells you, hey, here's what we're planning on doing. Here's how it's going to may affect you. Please watch out for these. If there's any items, please let us know. Sorry, I just went through this for the past 6 months, and it frustrates me. So
We feel your pain, Anthony. I know I feel it too. I think on our end, me and Corey, we're more in the dark. We get nothing until the client's like, "Hey, what happened?" And we're like, "Did happen." But I try to be on the websites as much as possible because of things like this, where it's just like, even if I'm not an SEO, like they're not my SEO client, when I'm doing ads on the side and all of a sudden I'm seeing my cost per click jump from where I've had $4 cost per clicks, and now all of a sudden my cost per clicks on all of my storables are like $8, $9. I'm like, no, what's going on? I need to figure out what's going on. So there's like correlations to things that will make me jump into the website and say something happened to the website that completely degraded the traffic, the value, the position or something to the site. So
we have to continue this conversation next week, guys. It's been an hour, so sorry. I know we can probably keep going, but I want to be mindful of everyone's time. Thank you again for joining us. Oh, gotta jump on, get your cameras turned on. Gotta do the selfie real fast. I need my YouTube thumbnail. All right, cameras on. Count of 3. Smile pretty. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, one's good enough. Perfect. All right. Thank you guys. It was a great conversation. Went to different ways. To be continued on this marketing part, I think, for next week, because there's a lot to undig. I want to see what's going on here. And we'll do that. We'll do the AI marketing workshop in 2 weeks. I'll reach out to
you guys.
Sounds good. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Everybody.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Jim.
Safe travels. See you next week. Have a good weekend.
bye, everybody.